Good morning, students. Now we are going to start our economics subject, class 12. This is chapter number 4, Banking and Monetary Policy. This is part 1 video. Before starting, I would request each and every student to take out your textbook and wear your earphones and pay attention to this video. Now, banking and monetary policy. This is our new chapter. All of us may be aware of the word bank. We may have deposited our domestic savings in some banks in the form of term deposits or saving deposits. Parents of many of us may have opened an account in some bank for business transactions, and some parents might be receiving LPG subsidy in their bank accounts. Besides, we have paid our school fees by way of a check of some bank and may have withdrawn money from a bank to buy TV, refrigerator, etc. Parents of some of us may have borrowed money as a loan from a bank to purchase a house. Thus, in modern times, most of our monetary transactions takes place through banks. Thus, in this chapter, we will get some idea about the banks. So, this was a quite introduction regarding bank. So, you all are knowing what is a bank and all are having the accounts in the bank. Okay, there are different accounts, that is current account, savings account and fixed deposit account. So, in daily purpose also, on daily basis, you are also given the school fees, the payment by check. Okay, so in that also the check goes to bank, wherein you get the money or you can pay the money to someone. Okay, so in the modern times, bank is having its main use. Now, evolution and meaning of banks. In English language, the word bank means heap or mass. In Sanskrit language, the word asking to bank is banda. Akin, okay, well, the word akin to bank is banda, which means collection of capital fund. The word bandod is derived from banda. The English word bank originated from the Italian word banca or from the French word banque. Both these words meant a bench for money exchange. In olden days, European money lenders or money changers used to display coins of different countries in big heaps on benches or tables for the purpose of lending or exchanging. Thus, they were exchanges of various coins, that is currencies of various regions. Thus, the word bank came into use. So, earlier bench was there, wherein the people used to sit on the bench and exchange the coins of different countries. So, the exchanges was taken place. So, there were different words used in different languages wherein the exchanges were taking place. So, from there, the word bank has been came into existence. It can be concluded that the word bank is related to collection or fund of money. So it is something which is related to the collection or fund of money. The Bank of Barcelona, set up in Spain in 1401, is known to be the first real bank established in the world. With the introduction of currency money, people started using money not only as a measuring rod of value, unit of account or medium of exchange, but also as a store of value and maintain the value of money. In short, in economics, systems dependent on money, there arose the need for an institutional arrangement for safety of money, transfer of money and maintaining the value of money. And the role of such an institution is played by banks. So the first bank was Bank of Barcelona. Barcelona set up in Spain in the year 1401. This was the first real bank that has been established. Now there was introduction of the currency money. After that, people started using such money. Then measuring rod of value was there. Unit of accounts or medium of exchange were also introduced. So there was a question of store of value and standard of the deferred payments. So with this all reasons, there was an introduction, that is introduction of banks. Okay. So what is the main role of bank? To store the value, to transfer the money, and maintaining the value of the money. So these were the roles played by the banks. Now what do you exactly say the meaning of a bank? Now a bank is that institution which provides services of banking. That is, a bank is an institution authorized to collect people's saving deposits with the purpose of leading those under the condition of returning the same when the depositor demands. So bank is an institution, that is an authorized institution, who is a responsible institution, who is responsible to collect people's savings deposits with the purpose of lending to other people. So those who are interested in saving, they can save, and those who are interested in lending, they can lend it from the bank, but under the condition of returning the same when the depositor demands. Okay, so if I deposit my money in the bank, and if I demand at any time, the bank is responsible to pay me that, or you can say return the money me back. Second, a bank is a commercial organization functioning for profit which accepts people's saving. Now the second is that it is also a commercial organization which functions for the profit earnings, right? In the form of deposits and pays interest in return. It ensures the safety of these deposits, lends money from these deposits to people who need money by charging them with interest, and invest the surplus funds in various sectors for development of the nation. So what the bank does, they collect the savings from the depositors, then they would lend it to anyone who is in need of money. But to those who have for those who they are lending, they would charge interest. Okay, the bank would charge interest to whom the banks are providing the or lending the money, right? So if you are taking a loan, so you have to pay the interest on loan. Clear with this? If anyone has taken the loan from the bank, you are supposed to pay the interest. So bank is charging such interest, and what they are doing, they would invest those interest in other sectors, which is useful for the development of the nation. To state briefly, banks are instrumental in mobilizing money. Value of stock money, which is not mobilized among activities, tends to fall at future date. Value of circulating money tends to increase. Now the classification of banks. The main types are commercial bank and central bank. What are commercial banks? According to Banking Company Act 1949, commercial bank is one which transacts the business of banking, that is accepting deposits from the people for the purpose of lending or investment, repayable on demand or otherwise, and withdrawal by check, draft, pay order or otherwise. So commercial bank is the one who transacts the business of banking. What they do, first of all, they accept the deposits from the people. Second, they would lend it, or you can say invest it somewhere else. And such deposits, whatever they're accepting the deposits, they have to they have to repay on demand, or otherwise the people can withdraw it by check, draft, pay order or otherwise. A commercial bank is a business unit which provides banking service for profit. So it does in order to earn a profit. People entrust their savings with the banks, which banks handle in the form of deposits. Banks also use some of these deposits for other economic activities, and therefore they give interest to the depositors. Banks may use the deposits for investment in the agriculture and industrial sectors for their development. or they may buy government securities, or they may lend some proportion of the deposits to people who need money. When banks invest some of the deposits, they earn profit, and when they lend this money, they earn by charging interest. So what it is saying, first they would accept the money from the person who are interested in savings in the form of deposits. Then what they do in demand, if they are demanding, they would return it back, or else what they are doing, they would deposit or invest it in some of the agricultural or the industrial sectors or on other government securities, which may lead to the economic development. Clear? And from there they would earn the profit from the shares. They would earn the profit. Clear with this? By charging the interest, or if they lend it to anyone, they would also earn it some of the profit in the form of interest. The lending rate of interest is higher than the rate of interest which banks gives on deposits, and the difference between the two is the profits earned. Hence banks are called commercial institutions. So if I have deposited 10,000 rupees, I would be given a interest of, say for an example, 2,000 rupees as interest from the bank. I am depositing 10,000 and I am getting 2,000 rupees as interest. If I lend 15,000 rupees, then I am charged to pay the interest of rupees 5,000. Okay, so the profit that the bank earned is right now is 3,000 rupees. Okay, they are charging 5,000 in lending and giving 2,000 rupees in on the deposits. So 5,000 minus 2,000 is 3,000 rupees is their profit. I hope this is clear to you. In other words, banks undertake activity of mobilizing people's money in order to make profit, and therefore they are called commercial institutions. Now, what are the functions of commercial banks? First is primary function. The primary function is accepting deposits. So they accept deposits. Bank accepts money from the people in the form of deposits. It gives safety to the deposits of its customers by acting as a custodian of funds. In a way, people lend their savings to banks, for which banks give them interest. So what are they doing? They accept the deposit. Anyone who is interested in saving the money, then they can give that money to the, or you can say deposit that money in the bank. With respect, in return, the depositor gets the interest on every month. Okay, some amount is received by the depositor. So thereby they could earn some money from there, or if a person lends money, they would charge the interest. Now there are three types of deposits. First one is current account deposit. A current account is opened with a bank in the name of a business, firm, or an individual. The deposits in this account are more liquid than deposits in any other account. Withdrawal can be made from this account any number of times during a day. The customers of this account are given a checkbook but do not get interest on current account deposits. On the contrary, certain times banks may impose some kind of services charge on this. So current account is one of the deposit which is can be opened in the name of a business or a firm or an individual. Now, what is the speciality of this current account? That you can withdraw any number of times. Okay, if in a day, if you want to withdraw at least 50 times, you can do it. Okay, without, there is no limitation. Such account holders are given a checkbook, but the only thing that they are not getting is they are not getting the interest. Okay, current account depositors don't get the interest. Clear with this? But some charges are kind of service charges are taken in this account. A customer may even obtain overdraft facility for business purpose on this account as per rules of the bank. So sometimes such a current account holder can also get the facility of overdraft. Okay, if you are having in your account, if you are having only 10,000 rupees, but you have to give pay to someone who is, and the payment amount is 20,000 rupees, right? Or you can say 15,000 rupees. So you can get the amount, that is you can say it as overdraft of 5,000 rupees extra. Okay, 10,000 is there in your balance, then the extra 5,000 you can get by the facility of overdraft. Savings account deposit. People usually deposit savings for a short period in this account, for which banks give them interest. Upon requirement, they can withdraw with a check or withdrawal slip. In present times, they can also withdraw money from this account by using debit card or credit card. Savings account is for the short period of time. Okay, the withdrawal is for short period of time, and they can withdraw with a check or a withdrawal slip. Then you can use ATM card, debit card or credit card. Now you are very much known to this because we frequently use such cards, right? Plastic money. We call it as plastic money. Facilities of recurring account. These deposits are also a type of savings deposits. People who do not wish to save or cannot save bigger sums of money save and deposit small amounts each month for some period of time in this account. Thus, the savings gradually increase and interest is paid on the accumulated money. Thus, these deposits are called recurring deposits. By rules of some banks, if a person skips to deposit some month's money in this account, he or she may have to pay a penalty along with some interest or loss. Okay, so this is that is recurring account, can say recurring deposit. So it is a small amount that you have to pay at a particular time, the whatever it is predetermined. Clear? And if you fail to do it, then you have to bear the penalty. Fixed and long-term deposits. These deposits are for fixed period of time, and usually people who want to deposit money for a long period of time choose such deposits. Banks pay highest rate of interest on such deposits among all types of deposits. Customers get overdraft facilities on such deposits. So if you want to save it for 10 to 15 years, then such a deposit is used, that is said to be as fixed and long-term deposits, and the interest on this type of is the highest. Okay, other than all the other accounts, the interest available on fixed deposits is the highest. So customers can get the overdraft facilities also on such deposits. Second is providing credit facilities. When individuals or business require money for personal or investment purposes, they borrow from banks, and banks provide credit by charging a rate of interest. In terms of time period, borrowing credit can be for short term, medium term and long term. These time periods are not strictly fixed and may vary for different activities. However, in a theoretical sense, short term is a period up to 1 year, medium term is period between 1 to 5 years, and long term is period between 5 to 15 years. So this is something that you are getting a credit facilities. If you are not having that much money in your account deposited, then you can get some extra money. Okay, but for that extra you have to pay the interest, that is banks are going to charge the rate of interest, and it would be the years has been given to you. Short term period is up to 1 year, medium term is up to 1 to 5 years, and the long term period is for 5 to 15 years. Clear with this? In the context of purpose, credit can be for personal reasons, for agricultural activity or for business activity. So these are the purposes. The rates of interest charged vary with the purpose. Now, the third one is payment and withdrawal facilities. A bank provides easy payment and withdrawal facility to its customers in the form of checks, withdrawal slips, and drafts. Pay orders, ATM facilities, etc. So the facilities that has been provided by the banks are very easy and favorable. So you are knowing about this ATM cards and the withdrawal slips on the checks. So from this you can withdraw your money. Credit creation. Banks undertake the activity of credit creation to ensure that the supply of money in the economy fulfills the demand for money. Banks create money from the existing stock of money, thereby add to the supply of money in the economy. When credit creation by banks increases, the supply of money increases, and when credit creation decreases, the supply of money decreases. So this is something undertaken by the bank who is ensuring the supply of money in the economy in order to fulfill the demand for the money in the economy. So banks, this CC, that is credit creation, is created by banks for the existing stock of stock of money, and thereby adding to the supply of money in the economy. When a bank lends money from primary deposits, the borrower has to open an account with the same bank or another branch in order to deposit the check of the loan, that is the borrowed sum of money. When the check is credited in the new account, it becomes a derived deposit for the bank. From this derived deposit, the bank can create still another loan account for a third person. The third person's loan becomes one more deposit for the bank. Thus, a bank can create several deposits from a primary deposit. Besides, when the borrower withdraws the loan amount from her or his account and spends it, there is a greater circulation supply of money in the economy. No bank can lend the full amount of a deposit. From every deposit, the bank has to keep aside some proportion of money in the form of cash reserves, which is known as cash reserve ratio, that is said to be as CCR. Thus, they can lend the remaining money only. If a bank has a primary deposit of rupees 1,000 and the cash reserve ratio determined by rule is 20%, then the bank can create credit up to rupees 1,000 multiplied by 1 by 28%. In other words, primary deposit of rupees 1,000 can create a money supply of rupees 5,000, and it can be said that new credit of rupees 4,000 is created. This can be understood with an example. So now let's look into this table. There are banks A, B, C and given to you. Deposits has been given in rupees 1,800, 640. Now the reserve, that is the required reserves ratio is 20%. So 20% of 1,000 is 200. 20% of 800 is 160. 20% of 640 is 128. Now the new loans is 800, 640, 512. How you get this? Just deduct it. That is 1,000 rupees minus 200 rupees. The amount is, now the loan amount is only 800. Then 800 minus 160 is 640. 640 minus 128 is 512. Like this, the loans are given. The credit creation is equals to primary deposit multiplied by 1 by cash reserve ratio. When customers withdraw more money than the deposited amount from their current account, it is called overdraft facility, and this is also leads to credit creation. So I have explained you what is overdraft earlier. Now the fifth one is interbanking transactions. Banks provide short-term and long-term credit to one another from time to time. Short-term credit is provided by one bank to another through the central bank and is called call money. The interest rate on call money is called the call money rate. So, short-term and long-term credit facilities are given by such banks. Now, the short-term credit is provided by one bank to the other bank through the central bank. Okay, so then through the central bank it is giving, then it is called call money, and the interest rate on such call money is said to be as call money rate. It is self-explanatory. Now the secondary, that is the other functions of commercial banks. So the first one is agency and utility services. A bank provides various utility and agent banking facilities to its customers. For example, a bank can act as a mediating agent by providing a letter of credit to the exporter. On behalf of this importer, banks also provide underwriting services to the various businesses. So what it is saying that a bank can even act as an agent, okay, to the customers. So such facilities are also provided if you are importing something and if you want to pay to your exporter, then the bank can provide you a letter of credit. So if you are giving or handling this letter of credit to the exporter, then you can get the goods. Okay, you can import your goods. And also banks provide the underwriting services to various businesses. Okay, they can underwrite the shares also. So in this way, they act as an agency and a utility service also. Banks also provides facility to its customers to pay tax, challans. Banks also provide safe deposit value on rent to its customers, wherein they can safely store their precious jewelry, documents, etc. So the locker facilities are also provided by these banks. Okay, so in order to store your precious materials, whatever it may be. And it is also helpful in paying the tax challans. Banks provides microfinance facilities for very small business, which are important for development of communities. When some payments are to be made with foolproof security, banks provide services to the payer by issuing draft or pay order. In short, we can say that banks are helpful to small as well as the large scale business men. Okay, businesses also. Now, provides various facilities with changing times. Banking is an evolutionary concept. There is continuous expansion and diversification of the functions, activities, and services of the banks. In present times, electronic transfer of money from the account of one customer to that of any other customer of any bank without using cash or check is done through facilities like NEFT, that is National Electronic Fund Transfer, and RTGS, that is Real-Time Gross Settlement. Both these are possible because of core banking, that is centralized online real-time exchange. Okay, so there is always expansion and diversification occurring in this banking sector. Okay, so various activities and services of the banks are diversified on the daily basis. Now, in the present times, there is electronic transfer of money. Okay, so you have heard about NEFT, RTGS. Okay, these are the things which is the electronic transfers from where you can get the money or pay the money to someone. Okay, so these are the various facilities that are provided by the bank with the changing times. Besides, customers can get various details of their account as well as make payments, buy goods, book tickets, etc. on their computer or mobile phone through internet banking and mobile banking app. Banks also provide safe deposit vaults and facilities of demat account, that is dematerialized account. This is an account where shares, debentures, bonds, etc. can be held in electronic form which is easier than holding them in a physical form. Okay, so the facility of demat account. You know demat account? Demat account is an account wherein you can purchase and sell your shares. It is very difficult to store the value in the physical form. So it is easier in the electronic form, that is said to be as demat account. And there are various facilities such as internet banking and mobile banking apps, you can say. So different apps are also available from which you can make the payments or get the payments. Now, the presence of commercial banks in India. Commercial banks in India operate in the public as well as private sectors. After the economic reforms of 1991, foreign banks have entered the private sector. Besides, there are financial companies which function like banks in the unorganized and organized money markets of India. And there also in the existence of cooperative banks. But by the official definition of banks in India, only those companies which are listed in the second schedule of the RBI Act 1934 are established accordingly are called scheduled banks. So, whatever the RBI says are said to be as the scheduled banks. Okay, it should be listed under the RBI Act 1934 and the real banks. All rules and regulations of the Reserve Bank of India apply to these banks. Now you can see a chart over here. Scheduled banks, there are two types, commercial banks and cooperative banks. These are said to be as scheduled banks. In commercial banks, there are public sector commercial banks, private sector commercial banks, foreign, that is multinational banks working in India, regional rural banks, that is RRBs. So the above chart gives a classification of the scheduled banks. So hereby we complete our today's session. Central bank would be explained in the next video. So students, I hope today's lecture is clear to you. I would request each and every student to read the text once again and clear your concepts. If anyone is having any doubts, please ask me in the WhatsApp group. Till then, stay safe and stay tuned with me with the next sessions. Thank you.